morning, you guys. My name is Kenzie if you are new around here, and welcome to or welcome back to Willow Creek Homestead. Today is exciting, you guys. I don't know who I feel like today because I woke up, I did my hair, I did my makeup, and I was super excited because we are doing some holiday jams. Now, these are one of my favorite homemade gifts to give away during the holidays. So we have three different ones we're gonna do. We're gonna do blueberry jalapeno, we're gonna do a strawberry basil jam, which is completely new to me, but that sounds incredible. And then we're also just gonna be making some standard hot pepper jelly. So I have two pots here. I think I'm gonna do blueberry jalapeno, and then we will do strawberry basil, and we'll get both of these going at the same time. And I will leave everything down below for you guys. If you guys like canning content, you guys have probably followed Sutton's Days. I love her. Sutton, you will probably never see this video, but if you ever do, I love your content. And she is the one that actually posted the blueberry jalapeno jam recipe. Now, I don't know if this is her original recipe or where she got it from, but this is her recipe that she posted. So I just wanted to give a little bit of credit to her, and I will leave the exact ingredients down below. But to start this, we need 5 cups of blueberries, and this is a 2-cup measurer. So here's 2 cups, 4 cups, and half is 5. Okay, and then while I'm at it and while I already have my measure and stuff out, I'm gonna go ahead and measure for the strawberry basil. This also requires 5 cups of strawberries. And neither of these are in season, so I did just go ahead and buy some big bags at the store. Okay, and then the blueberry jalapeno jam I've made many, many years. I know that this requires lemon juice. However, on the recipe, this one said that it did not require lemon juice. But if you take the basil out of it, it requires lemon juice. So I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. So I am adding half of a cup of lemon juice to the strawberry basil jam, just because most jams require lemon juice, and that's weird not to. So I am gonna add it to this. So let's get this measured out for all of this. So half a cup. This blueberry jalapeno jam, you guys, if you have never had it, it is an absolute family favorite. I get a lot of people asking me to make it every single year. It is a hit around here. Super, super good. Okay, and get some lemon juice in there. Okay, and then I get my powdered pectin from a local Amish store. So if you're making these without like the pectin in the bag, which you guys probably won't have access to that anyway. So this will just be 1 box of pectin each. And then powdered pectin always goes in at the beginning because this needs to come up to a boil to start to set. And for my ratio, it is 3 tablespoons per 5 cups of fruit. So here is 1. 2, and 3. Then we just need to do the same ratio over here. And then last night I went ahead and cut up all of my peppers for the pepper jelly. So these are all the hot peppers. These are jalapenos and serranos. And then I also cut up all of my bell peppers. So because I'm using the serranos, I think it calls for 2 cups of jalapenos, but serranos are a little bit like hotter than the jalapenos. So I'm gonna do a little bit less than that. This is a 1/2 cup measure. So that's probably like 1.5 cups-ish. And then the next thing to do is just to get these to start to come up to temperature and to a boil. And then once we get up to a boil, we will add the sugar and everything else. And then if I say jelly throughout this video, I don't mean jelly. The only one that we're making is pepper jelly. These two are jams. So that basically just means that we're not using the juices from these. Now, the blueberries are a little bit like chunky, so I am gonna go ahead and take a masher and just start mashing this down as these start to get warm. And then, like I said, the biggest thing is just letting all of this pectin come up to a really hard boil before we start adding in our sugar, because that is how it activates. And if you don't do that, then it can really affect the jam's ability to set correctly. You could also use an immersion blender in this if you wanted it to be super smooth. I kind of like the chunks, honestly. Biting into a couple big pieces of blueberry, like on a piece of toast or cream cheese and crackers, I think is really, really good. But if you want either one of these smooth, feel free to immersion blend them down. I also went ahead and picked up a bunch of fabric and ribbon that we're gonna use to decorate the tops of the jars together. I did this last year and it turned out so incredibly cute. So I got these along with some dissolvable labels to put on the front of the jars. Okay, and let me bring you in so you can see. You just need this to start getting liquefied, and then once this starts coming up to a really, really hard boil is when we will start putting in the sugar. And these soften the longer that you cook them as well. So we basically just sit here and then these will start to cook down. And then over here for the blueberries, same thing. We're just waiting for this to come up to a really hard boil. But look at that, you guys. Look at that beautiful coloring. Ah, it's so pretty. Okay, so these are just about ready to put sugar in. So I went ahead and grabbed my little container here. Funny story, you guys, I went to Walmart yesterday to grab some of the ingredients that we needed, and I bought a 25-pound bag of sugar that had a rip in it and then had been like retaped. I don't think that anything like happened. I don't think anything spilled out, but the worker noticed it and gave me a huge discount on it. So I ended up getting a 25-pound bag of sugar for $8. I was like, that is a freaking steal. So I have the other, or not the other, sorry. I have the 25-pound bag over there because I knew we were going to need a lot of sugar today. And I just haven't gotten around to buying like a couple big bags. Usually I have a lot of sugar on hand, but I haven't at this very moment. So that was a freaking amazing steal. I was super appreciative that that worker did that for me, because now I know we are not going to run out of sugar for today. I love when we're able to get a good discount. Oh, and I did go ahead and mash the strawberries down too. Sorry, my camera was off whenever I was doing that, but I did go ahead and mash these ones down just a little bit as well. So both of these have been ran through and mashed down. And like I said, I'm just waiting a minute here to get this one up to a hard boil. This one is definitely at a hard boil though, so we could probably go ahead and add the sugar to this one and then wait on this one. So it's 5 cups of sugar per jam recipe. And I know that that sounds like a lot. Anytime that I make jams, people are like, that is a lot of sugar. And I know it is, but you have to think like with jams and jellies and things, you're not eating like a super big amount. My family and I were not scared of sugar. So, but they do have like lower sugar option jams. I've never made them. I use the full recommended amount, but they do have those out there if you can't tolerate a lot of sugar. So here is 1 cup. So yeah, I know it looks like a lot of sugar, and it is, but we do not eat this like a lot in one setting, you know, so you got to think about that. So 4 and 5. And then we're just going to go ahead and get this all mixed around and make sure you are really, really, really working that sugar in, making sure nothing is stuck to the bottom, because this will start scorching in no time if you are not careful. And then we're going to go ahead and bump our heat up so that this can come up to a full rolling boil, and it needs to come up to a boil for 1 minute before we can start putting it in our jars. Now, sometimes people at this point will add like a little knob of butter if you don't want the foam on the top. It doesn't personally bother me or my family, but again, if it bothers you, go ahead and throw in a little knob of butter just so that you don't get extra foam in your jars. And then this blueberry jalapeno jam over here is also ready for sugar. So again, it's just 5 cups. And then at this point, definitely do not walk away from these because it can get really bad really quickly. Ask me how I know. And especially if you're doing 2 of them at a time, you might as well just stay here and have both of your arms going. Just consider it a workout. Oh, you know what, friends? I almost forgot the basil and strawberry basil. So this called for fresh basil, but I did not want to pay the fresh basil price at the store. So I'm just using homegrown, home dehydrated basil. And we will just get a decent amount in here. I'm going to make sure that I break up all of these leaves, because sometimes I'm not very good about, you know, taking it all off the stem, making sure everything's broken up adequately. So I'm going to go ahead and just make sure none of those bits are in here. Even thinking about having to pay for herbs at the store makes me just like want to protest. I don't know about the rest of you guys, but I'm like, there is no way when I grow as many as I do that I am paying that price for fresh herbs. Herbs are very expensive, like very, very, very expensive. So that's something, if you can grow on your own, you have already saved yourself a ton in the long run, because it is no joke to pay those prices at the grocery store. I am telling you what. Oh my goodness, you guys. I just took a little bit off of the spoon to put it on my finger so I could taste it to see what the basil level is. This is so good. I have never had a strawberry basil jam, but that combination is incredible. Wow. I knew whenever I read it that it would probably be really good, but I was really not anticipating it like to taste that good. Like, that is phenomenal. And I'm really, really happy that the dehydrated basil still has that much basil flavor in that, because that was something I was worried about with not using fresh, but you can definitely taste that in there. Wow. Super, super good. Okay, so I went ahead and got my canner going with a bunch of the jars. These are warm. Strawberry basil jam is over there. So now we got to get to filling up these jars with our jalapeno, or I can't even talk today, you guys. I need my coffee. My husband's supposed to be bringing me coffee. I'm not awake yet. The blueberry jalapeno jam. So now we need to start filling up these jars and be very careful because this is hot, you guys. Hot, hot, hot. I have scorched my fingertips off multiple times working with hot jam. It is no fun. And actually, you know what? I'm gonna grab a different spoon or scoop because that is gonna take me forever and a day to use that one. Let's see what we're working with here. Okay. Stop it. Okay, here, this one's a little bit better. I believe I've made this recipe for the past, I want to say 3 years since I found Sutton's video. And like I said, it is definitely a hit. With some cream cheese and crackers, oh, it's perfect. And we're going to be leaving 1/4 of an inch of headspace. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just get it as close as you possibly can. And we will fix head spacing later. We are actually getting ready to go up to another town and do some Christmas shopping today. So that should be fun. My husband and I have both gotten to the point with like everyone in our family we just do money for, and then like the smaller kids and stuff will buy gifts and things, you know. But I personally, I try to do like money or, you know, functional gifts, like the homemade jams and jellies or homemade gifts and things. Because one, it's just a little bit more personable, and two, it's something that I know somebody will use. You know what I mean? I hate going to the store and buying a gift and then having to like second guess if that person's even actually going to like it or if they are going to want to use it. So I'm like, well, if I give you money, you can buy your own gift. And then I know for sure it'll be something that you will like and enjoy. And then if I give you food, I mean, who doesn't like food, right? I mean, I would love food as a gift, so nobody in my family has complained so far. My daughter is also on a Labubu kick. I don't know if any of your guys' kids have been on a mission to collect every single Labubu that there is to ever exist, but my daughter is on that mission. And I'm just like, I'm not paying $300 for a stuffed animal. Is that happening? Last year, whenever I made this, I did not add hot enough peppers. So, I mean, it still had a little bit of a kick to it, but this year I definitely made a point to add some hotter peppers because everybody that tried it was like, it's phenomenal this year, but it's just not hot enough. So they're lucky I wasn't able to find habaneros at the store because I would have burned their freaking buttholes up this year. But they did not have them. They just had serranos and jalapenos. So hopefully this is spicy enough. And don't fret if it looks like your jam isn't going to set right away. Oftentimes these will set as you get them out from being processed. If you ever are, you know, like doubting yourself and thinking that something might not set correctly, you can also take a spoon with a little bit of this and stick it in your freezer for a couple minutes. And if it sets up well in the freezer, then you know it will set up well in your jar. The blueberry jalapeno jam just always tends to be a little bit like on the runnier side at first whenever it's warm. But as this goes through the canner and comes out, it always sets just fine. I've never had a problem with it. So, okay. And then with the last little bit of this, I'm just going to go back and fix some of my head spacing because I can tell some of these need just a little bit more. And like I said, it does not have to be perfect, you guys. Just get it as close as you possibly can. Okay, so now I'm just going back and wiping down all of the jars and the rims really good. Now, you guys know I reuse my lids. However, whenever I gift things away, I do not reuse them. So I am going ahead and using some new ones. This is my favorite canning lid company because you can buy everything in bulk and they're really, really good quality. If you've never heard of Forjars, I will link them down below for you. But basically, after you wipe down the jar and the rim really good, we're going to go ahead and get a lid placed on here. And then a ring, fingertip tight, and then one is done. Look at that. Beautiful. Didn't even have to do any food coloring or anything, you guys. And that's like, I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, how do you people need all of these dyes in our food when I can do this with just natural ingredients? You know what I mean? So very, very, very happy with how these turn out every single time. Like I said, if you guys like sweet and spicy, this is definitely it, I promise. It is delicious. I don't personally debubble like the jam if it's not super, super thick. Like sometimes I don't debubble things that are really liquidy, but you are supposed to. So if you feel like you would like to debubble these, go ahead and do that. I just usually don't. Okay, and then I'm just getting all of these placed into the canner. Ah, hot, 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 hot. I don't know why I thought I could do that without this. So much for fingerprints today. Who needs them anyway? Okay, so the blueberry jalapeno are over there in the canner, and now we are going to start filling these strawberry basil ones so that these can start all processing together, and then we will do the pepper jelly at the very last. And I don't think I'm going to get quite as many of these strawberry basil ones as I did the blueberry jalapeno, but that is okay. I might not give any of these away, to be honest with you. I might just keep them all for myself. These are delicious. I'm in a funny mood. I don't know if it's because of the lack of coffee and I'm just like functioning on my own, whatever you want to call it, but I am in kind of a silly mood this morning, you guys. I think I need caffeine. My husband said he was on his way 10 minutes ago. Oh, I can hear him. You can hear his big old diesel truck pulling in. It just made me think of that part on, I think is it Miss Doubtfire? I can't remember, where he's like, help is on the way, dear. If you can't tell, I need coffee. Maybe I don't need coffee today. Heck, I don't freaking know. Can you try something real quick? It's hot, but just it's strawberry basil jam. Try it.
It's really good.
Really good, right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I gotta get to work. Love you.
Okay. Love you. Bye. Thanks for coffee. It's like a reward. Okay, so I still have a little bit in here at the bottom, you guys. So I think instead of doing another full one, because I don't think I have enough to do another one that size, we're just gonna fill up one of these itty bitty baby ones and then keep it in the fridge. Okay, head spacing does not have to be perfect on that one because we're just keeping it for us. And then let's fix a couple of these. Well, that was perfect. We got quite a few of each one, actually, and making really, really good time this morning. I was hoping to have all of these done before we did our Christmas shopping, and it seems like we are going to be able to do that. So awesome. Okay, and now the lid goes on. We kick this up to a high, and these need to process for 10 minutes at a rolling boil. I'm gonna take a moment and clean my kitchen, clean out my pans so that we can reuse them, get everything kind of reset, and I will meet you back whenever we go to do the pepper jelly. All right, you guys, so I got all of those jams out and they are setting on the counter. So now let's move on to the pepper jelly. Now, like I said, I did go ahead and measure everything last night, but I will leave all of the ratios for you down below. So here are the jalapenos and serranos. And we just need to get those in there like so. I left the seeds in. If you would like this a little bit milder, feel free to get the seeds out of your hot peppers. And I also wanted to mention, so like in your canning recipes, for instance, if it says jalapenos, like 2 cups of jalapenos, I get the question a lot, can you use other types of peppers? And yes, you can. So the type of pepper doesn't matter. You just need to make sure that your measurements are correct. So like if you wanted to switch out the jalapenos for like habaneros, for instance, that's an appropriate substitution, or, you know, whatever other colored pepper or however you want to do it. You just want to make sure that the measurements are accurate. It does not matter what variety. So then here are all of our bell peppers. I did orange, red, and green for like holiday colored. You could throw in yellow if you wanted to. You could just do red and green. It's totally up to you. And then the pepper jelly is a little bit different. So it calls for 1 cup of apple cider vinegar. I do not like apple cider vinegar at all. So I am just using regular distilled vinegar. You just want to make sure that it's 5% acidity. And then again, like the other jams that we did, we are going to go ahead and throw in our pectin. Now, I think that it is a package and half for your standard pepper jelly recipes because the bell peppers have so much water in them. So usually pepper jelly recipes are going to require a little bit more pectin. So since I do 3 tablespoons of this. I think I'm going to do like 4.5-ish and see where we are with that, because I have had it happen in the past where I did not read that, where it required a higher level of pectin than just 1 packet, and my pepper jelly turned into pepper syrup. So just make sure you are paying attention to how much this actually requires. And then again, just like our other recipes, we are going to go ahead and mix all of that pectin in and let this get brought up to a boil. If you don't want to use vinegar in this, you don't have to. Also, you can use lemon juice. My family and I, we prefer the taste of the vinegar in with this pepper jelly. But if you use lemon juice, which I've done that in the past, I actually just had to go get vinegar because I was completely out. But I have substituted it for lemon juice previously. It's just way more sweet. It's not like the flavor of pepper jelly that you would expect. So if you like a really, really sweet pepper jelly, lemon juice is also an appropriate substitution. Okay, so all of this has come up to a really hard boil for 1 minute, which is what you want the pectin to do. So now we are going to go ahead and add our sugar, and it's the same as the other jams, which is 5 cups. And again, just make sure you're stirring all of this really good. Don't walk away from it. And then after it boils for 1 minute, I will meet you over there and we'll get this jarred up. All right, you guys, pepper jelly is done. So let's go ahead and get this jarred up. I can tell that this is going to set really, really well. This is one of my favorites to look at in the jars with all the different colors and stuff. It just looks really, really festive. And I did give it a little taste. It is quite spicy, so hopefully everybody will enjoy the spice level. I wanted to do a cranberry pepper jelly. So I found that recipe online and I was like, that sounds incredible. But whenever I went to the store yesterday, I could not find cranberries anywhere. So like, can we protest that cranberries are not just for Thanksgiving? I goofed. I should have bought them a couple weeks ago and I wasn't even thinking about it. But I could not find any cranberries at all. But maybe next year we will try the cranberry pepper jelly, because it did sound really, really good. And that'd be a good way to use up cranberries. And much like the blueberry jalapeno jam, you guys, pepper jelly always looks like very watery. I don't know why that is. Some jams and jellies are just really prone to looking way thinner than they actually are. So if you start filling these up and your peppers set at the top, whenever these start to cool down after processing, you can give them just kind of a gentle shake. And as they start to set, they will kind of hold the peppers throughout the jar. So don't fret if it looks like a huge ball of peppers at the top. We can fix that. My husband is actually outside working on the chicken coop for me. He's getting all of the insulation in, and we bought paneling to go over the insulation, just so that the chickens couldn't peck on it, you know. And it hasn't been so cold here that they have needed insulation, but those cold days are definitely coming. So it was on our list to do this weekend to get the coop and everything done. And then I went ahead and got a bunch more tarps up as well. So the girls and boys should be ready to go for the winter time. It does have a light up top. If it gets super, super cold, I do have the option to run a little heat light at the top of their coop for them, but just for safety reasons, I try not to run heat if I can help it. But if it gets, too cold outside, I definitely will turn something on for them. Okay, and then I did go ahead and grab out just 1 pint because my father-in-law really likes pepper jelly, so I'm going to give him a bigger portion of this, which actually works out really, really well. So I think after this is filled up, that'll be pretty even with what we have left. If we have any left, I'll fill up one of those little itty-bitty jars, and my husband and I will just keep it in the fridge. So then again, we are just getting our lids and bands wiped down, and that worked out perfectly, you guys. For each one, I got exactly what I wanted, and we put a little bit extra in the fridge for my husband and I to enjoy, so that worked out perfect. All right, so then I just gotta get these in the canner, let them process for 10 minutes, and then I'll meet you back whenever they're done. All right, guys, so I got the pepper jelly out, and this is working on cooling down. Now, what I was talking about with like the peppers being right at the top, as these start to cool down and thicken up, just take your jar and shake it, and it will evenly distribute the peppers in the jar. They float to the top every single time that I make it. I've never not had that be a problem, but it's a very, very simple fix. So all of these are done. I was gonna decorate the tops of them with you guys today, but I think we're gonna save that for next week's video because I do have another holiday inspired video coming out for homemade gifts. So we will get all of these labeled up, decorated together, and then make the extra things that we have going on next week. So I had a lot of fun. This is super exciting. Love having homemade jams to give away to my friends and family. So I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching. If you try any of these recipes, let me know down below. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your week. And as always, I will see you in next week's video. Bye, friends.